everybody. Happy Monday. It's the start of a new week. I'm sorry there wasn't a stream yesterday. I changed my food delivery day to Sundays so that I wouldn't be messing up my weeks anymore. And then it messed up my Monday, and I had some other stuff I needed to take care of as well. I'm just switching to a new schedule. But it allowed me to do an evening stream today. I've had a couple of people tweet me and say, hey, Grace, I'd love to be able to be part of a stream, but you hold them at a time that I can't participate. So by happy accident, I'm able to have a stream that hopefully some of you can join while you can't usually make it. But we got a lot of really great stuff to talk about today. Oh, by the way, because I missed yesterday's stream, I'll still do 4 streams this week. So it'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. There'll be a Thursday stream. And I'm working on setting up a new watch-along party. I have to figure out what movie and what day. But yes, you know, anyone can watch these streams, and I welcome everyone. It's so great to be able to have everybody participate. But if you're a member, you can comment. But I do realize that as a member, you know, you do pay a fee, which is very helpful to me, particularly during this pandemic. And you're owed 4 streams a week. So there will be 4 this week. NN says 1 stream a week in the morning and 1 stream in the evening, and 1 your choice. Yeah, do you guys like an evening stream? Does it make a difference to you? Maybe I'll try and do an evening stream, you know, once a week. Darren, I do want to do a Bill and Ted watch along before the movie comes out, but it's a little early for that. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's very sunny right now. This is usually one of the reasons I don't do an evening stream, because it's like blindingly bright. You guys are pretty chill. I love it. I know this is very late for people in Europe. The reason I do the 4 o'clock stream is because that's lunchtime in the West Coast. It's like after school, or you know, late afternoon on the East Coast, and then it's evening for people who are in. It's the evening for people in Europe. I'm sorry about Asia. I wish I could pick a time. See, Dogomania is it's 2 a.m. in Turkey. That's very sweet of you to stay up so late. I appreciate it. All right, so on that note, the way these streams work, if you don't usually tune in, is I do 3. We have a little introduction where I do shout outs to people. Then we do the 3 stories of the day, and then then for the final 10 minutes of the stream, you may ask me anything that you would like. Doesn't mean I have to answer it, but you can try. All right, so where's everybody streaming from so I can do some shout outs? Henry's in Hawaii, where it's just 1 o'clock. Daniel's in San Diego. Hey, Matthew, thanks for joining. I always give new members a shout out. Lloyd says, usually making dinner around this time in Virginia. I'm sorry I'm making your dinner late. I might make burgers for dinner tonight. Felix is streaming from Quebec City. Diego is in Guatemala. Love it. Jonathan is rewatching Glee in Vancouver. That's very sweet of you. I agree. Poor Naya. Let's see here. Music fan 4E is in Fort Lauderdale cooking a vegan meal. Hey, Kevin in Montreal. Cartoon Serbia is in Serbia once again. It's 1 a.m. there. Daniel Hernandez is on his break in Connecticut. Hey, Sato8496. Sorry, it's very bright. It's hard for me to see a little bit. Let me look. Lloyd is multitasking. Insommatic is in Ottawa, baby. Let's see here. Hail Hydra is about to go to work in, where are you? In Rhode Island? Well, Logan is making hamburgers in Dallas. Logan, I shall be you soon. Let's see here. The Geeky Gator is at the beach in Cape Cod. It's midnight, MJC says in the UK, in the countryside. How picturesque. Evan's in Ohio, where it's raining. That sounds very cozy. Jason says, I'm recovering in San Francisco from my birthday yesterday. Happy birthday. I hope you had a great day. Stacy's grape soda is drinking. What were you drinking? You are enjoying espresso in Turkey. Ah, that's great. Ozzy says, Oz in the land of tea and toast, London. I love tea and toast. I froze my bread, and it's worked out great. Over the weekend, I made myself a fried egg sandwich on toast, and I was quite happy. So thanks, everybody. You saved me money and got me to have some bread, which I really appreciate. All right, so let's get to the 3 stories of the day. And then at the end of the stream, of course, again, you can ask me anything that you would like. All right. Let's see here. All right, so story number 1. Hold on. So bright. I wonder if the light is overwhelming the feed. Hey, Travis Siv. Okay. All right, so story number 1. I remembered to mark it. All right, so story number 1. The Witcher. Oh, yeah, some of you were like, the boop is very professional, Grace. So during coronavirus, when I was filming from near my sofa, I would do the boop. I would do boop, and everyone liked the boop. So, okay, I'll bring back the boop. So, boop, story number 1. All right, so The Witcher is getting a prequel, and it's time to find out what's the true star here. The video game and books, or Henry Cavill? I suspect it's Henry Cavill, unless like the Witcher fandom. I mean, the Witcher fandom's pretty big, but is it that big? This will answer that question. So what it's going to be is going to be a 6-episode prequel called Blood Origin. It takes place 1,200 years in the past. So obviously Henry Cavill can't participate, and it's going to tell the story of the first Witcher. Now, I have a problem because I felt that the Witcher show as is didn't really do a great job explaining what a Witcher can do. Hey, Eric, new member, thanks for joining. I wasn't quite sure, if the Witcher, I know they have a special coloring to them, but that's basically all I really got. I think that they didn't do a great job explaining Witchers to begin with. Hey, Dom Harkin, thanks for joining. So maybe they'll do a better job explaining it when they talk about the origin. Now, I'm hearing that Netflix wants to do a lot of Witcher spin-offs. This thing must be really big for them. I saw one of you just made a comment about Game of Thrones. Sean said The Witcher after 1 season, Game of Thrones after 8 seasons in terms of prequels. I see some of you saying, is it too soon for a prequel? Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if the Game of Thrones prequel is going to do well. At least it's going to be, chock full of dragons. I think that's certainly going to help. I don't know if the Lord of the Rings prequel is going to do well. I think prequels are tough. I prefer sequels, quite frankly, but, Game of Thrones is in a little bit of a corner where they don't have any dragons. They're like, we can't use any of the same characters, but what if everybody had a dragon? And you go, I will watch that. I think it'll be big. Hey, Chef Bo Forjado. That's a great name. New member. If you're not watching this live, I give shout outs whenever anybody joins during a live stream. So I don't know how I feel about this. I think casting will be key, and Netflix wants a ton of Witcher spin-offs, and I agree with many of you that it just started. Also, we don't even know how well The Witcher did. Netflix said The Witcher was a huge hit for them, but it was very popular online, I will say. It was something that was very good for me to cover. I like The Witcher. Not only do I like it as a viewer, but I like it from a business perspective. I'm like, there's a big audience for that, and so I that makes me very happy. But Netflix, of course, is very kind of shady on how they say what a view is. So they're like, if you watch just like the pre-roll, it counts as a view. So I don't know how many people actually watch The Witcher. How many of you watch The Witcher? Let's get that in there. How many of you watch The Witcher? Jonathan says, I'm all about the video game. Jonathan says, I'd watch it if Henry narrates it. That's a pretty good idea. Red says, I started playing the game because of the show. That's great. All right, that's right, Daniel. Release the numbers, as I said earlier today. Oh, most of you did watch it. That's excellent. I see a few didn't watch it, but most of you did. All right, would you watch the prequel? I mean, of course we're going to watch the prequel. I mean, let's see if it's good. I mean, people are watching Cursed like you wouldn't believe, and no one even likes that show on Netflix. A lot of Witcher fans. All right, tell me this. This is a good question. Here, I'll challenge you with this one. Do you like The Witcher because of Henry Cavill, or do you like The Witcher because of the games and the books? All right, let's see here. I have it on slow mode, but you guys I love how interactive you all are today. Oh, Bernardo, you like cursed. That's great. Oh, a lot of you like both. I agree, Karen. Yennefer is fantastic on that show, but I still don't think she's enough to pull anybody in just yet. But she's excellent. The whole cast is very good on The Witcher. Oh, Anna also likes Yennefer. I'm glad to see all the Yennefer love. I thought that character was amazing. Josh also talks about it. Pretty good share. Pretty good mix. If they can get someone who's kind of like Henry Cavill-esque to play the original Witcher, I think that would work. That would be the only way I could see this maybe going very well. Hey, Jerome, thanks for joining. All right, so that's the first story of the day. So the second story of the day, let me mark it. Boop. All right, so the second story of the day, Ellen DeGeneres. They finally got her. People have been coming after Ellen DeGeneres for years. Like really, really trying, like Ellen personally. They're like, Ellen's actually really mean, everybody. That's what everybody's been saying. Now, I've never met Ellen DeGeneres. I did see her once. I was walking on Madison Avenue here in New York City a few years ago, and it was after hours, and she was going into Hermes on Madison Avenue. It was like a private event for her. Like the store was closed, so she was being allowed to shop there herself. And she was coming out of like a big black car. You know how celebrities do. And she had her security with her. But I noticed her because not only was it Ellen DeGeneres, but she looked so mean and so angry. I was like, wow. But I just chalked it up because I've always been a big Ellen DeGeneres fan. I just chalked it up to Ellen DeGeneres having like her guard up, you know, like, don't talk to me to everybody. Like, I think that's how she felt. That's at least how I read it. That she was like, I don't want anyone to bother me. Let me just run into this Hermes and get something, you know, for Portia, whatever. Okay, so that's what I chalked it up to. But I did note that she looked like she was really not in a good mood. Now, what finally got her, all right, because it was announced today that Warner Brothers is doing an investigation into the show, is that earlier this month, BuzzFeed published an investigative article about how mean everybody was on the show, and everybody saying they hated working there. They were like, I hated it so much, it was a nightmare. And all these people came forward and they were like, oh, it was just a disaster. And they were saying really mean things about the show. Now the producers stepped forward at that point and they said, look, we're responsible for running the show. This has nothing to do with Ellen DeGeneres. She's just the host. Although some people said there was a rule that you couldn't talk to Ellen DeGeneres. But I mean, Steve Harvey has the same rule, and everybody's okay with him. I mean, he got a little bit, shaded for it, but everybody was fine. And they said, the show has been on since 2003 for nearly 20 years, and, we're devastated to hear that some people had this experience. And I don't know. I'm glad they're doing the investigation. I mean, they did that investigation on, what was it, America's Got Talent, right? And they found that, they didn't agree with, I believe it was, off the top of my head, Gabrielle Union's allegations. So that's what NBC did. I think when someone has an article like this come out, you got to investigate it. But I would say that I do caution people about the importance of perception. I think that we're getting to a point where a lot of people are reporting things that they had heard secondhand. So I feel that you can't say somebody's actually horrible unless you've personally experienced it or someone has shown you the receipts, like an email or a recording or something like that. If somebody just says, oh, this is what I think happened, I think that you have a problem with that they put their own spin on it potentially. And I'm not even saying that their spin isn't to them their truth, but you don't know for sure if there was spin put on it. So I just feel like that's what I'm getting concerned about. I feel like sometimes people don't like when someone or something is turned down. Hey, Audie S. And they're like, oh, I don't like that someone said no to this, and I don't like that this happened. So I feel like, I'm not talking about Ray Fisher, Diego, because I know that Joss Whedon was horrible on that set. I will say I think Joss Whedon's already been canceled. I didn't see a need to double cancel him, but we'll see what happens there. That's a whole different journey. You have to be very careful with these more toxic things because there are legal aspects to them. I mean, you got to be really careful about that. But I do feel that there are other, in every situation, I feel like you have to really step back and be like, hey, I know you might have been upset about that, and you might have made the assumption that that person felt that way, but maybe they didn't. Like, that's what that's how I feel about it. I feel like you got to be really careful with this stuff, like really careful. So to me, what's most interesting about the Ellen DeGeneres story, Erwin, yes, the fight with I don't know if Joss Whedon locked Gal Gadot in a room. I don't know about that, because I've never commented on that. But I do know that he filmed that scene with a body double. So I know that's true. So, and also, I think you just have to be really careful. But as for me with the Ellen DeGeneres story, to me, people have been coming after her for a very long time, and they finally got her. I don't know why some people have a bone to grind, like an axe to grind with her, or a bone to pick with her. I put two metaphors together. But people have been coming after her. And I will say that Ellen DeGeneres, I don't think, did enough to get in front of that. And it eventually caught up with her, which is really, really bad. Very bad. Very bad. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm sure Warner Brothers will be very careful. Her show is a cash cow. Nobody wants to see that thing go down. All right. Hinsomatic says, maybe she's just a mean person. But I mean, like, criminally mean? Abusively mean? She might not be particularly nice, but there's nothing wrong with that. You just don't know. You just don't know. So unless, like, someone has her on tape and yelling at... I mean, Christian Bale was mean to a bunch of people when he was filming Terminator, remember? And we all forgave him. I just think I think Ellen DeGeneres, as Brian says, I still love Ellen. Ellen DeGeneres has done a lot of good, and she's a pioneer. I know that some people, like Chef Bo, who just joined, said this Ellen issue is so disappointing to me if true. I wonder if Ellen was this all the time when the show started and as time went along. People do change. That's interesting. Maybe there's something like that. I think that's possible. And I know that people have been upset with some of the stances that Ellen DeGeneres has taken. Like she sided with George W. Bush. She sided with Kevin Hart. Some people felt betrayed by those choices. And I don't know if she made enough of an effort to remedy that. So I think at the very least, this is a good learning lesson for anyone else who might find themselves in a public space and what happens. So we'll see. I'm sure Warner Brothers will handle it very responsibly. Hey, AJ, new member. I like your avatar quite a bit. That's really cute. All right, so let's get to the third story of the day, and then we'll have the Ask Me Anything portion of the show. All right, so boop. All right, so coronavirus, a good headline to come out of it. So Adam McKay, that's who that is. That's Adam McKay. I'm sure some of you know who he is. He's a really interesting personality because Adam McKay started out on Saturday Night Live, and he did a lot of writing for Will Ferrell. And he and Will Ferrell decided to go off and start a movie career, and they were very successful when they started out. Things like Talladega Nights, Anchorman, those are things they made together. They did Funny or Die together. But recently, Adam McKay has really wanted to go and become more of an important filmmaker. And it's working for him. Look at that Oscar he's holding. Whereas Will Ferrell has, stuck mostly with comedy. He's produced some of the things that Adam McKay has worked on. But most recently, they parted ways, and they no longer have the same production company. Hey, Rocoy whatever. So Adam McKay has been quite successful in redefining himself. He did The Big Short. Loved The Big Short. He did Vice, which I absolutely adored, although as Mika pointed out, it kind of flopped. It did, but I thought it was a very good movie. So he did that. And then also he did, as somebody said earlier, who said that, some of you were talking about Succession. Yes, he is behind Succession. I see it there, red. I love Succession. Succession is an amazing show, but you can see that there's kind of a sameness to this new kind of content that he's putting out. The Big Short, Vice, and Succession are all very similar. And of course, with Succession, he's on the HBO train, right? So he just signed a new deal. He's also producing, by the way, the Parasite show for HBO with Bong Joon-ho. So, he's really doing very well with HBO. And he has a new thing coming up. It's going to be a series on HBO, and it's called The First Shot. And it's based on a book that's being researched right now. So this book is being researched about the race for the coronavirus vaccine. Ooh, it's not only a great idea, but it's a perfect fit for Adam McKay. Like, you couldn't have gotten a better person to make the TV version of this book. So apparently some National Geographic reporter is looking in to the race for the coronavirus vaccine, and they're writing a book on it. And their publisher very cleverly shopped it around to Hollywood. And Adam McKay said, yes, please. And so he got HBO optioned the book for him. Look, I have a ray of light coming across here. It's crazy. All right, so anyway, it's J.J. Abrams making today's live stream. But anyway, so HBO, and so Adam McKay didn't even have to spend his own money on it. HBO optioned the book for him, and they're going to simultaneously develop a live-action series as the book is being written. So I think that's pretty fantastic. I think that's very, very clever. I will watch that for sure. I think it's brilliant. All right, so those are the 3 stories of the day. It is now time for the Ask Me Anything portion of the show. I always do it for 10 minutes, so it's 7:26, so we'll go till 7:36. You can ask me anything you'd like, and again, I don't necessarily have to answer it, but I might. Joseph said, isn't he partners with Brad Pitt now with Plan B? Adam McKay? No, he's not. He works with Brad Pitt a lot. Brad Pitt, of course, helped do The Big Short, but Adam McKay has his own company. But Brad Pitt is also very active in that same intellectual space. Chris says, what's the deal with Kate Bishop? Well, she's been circling this role for a very long time, Haley Steinfeld. And I think we all agree she is Kate Bishop. Nobody else will ever be as good. They might hire someone else, but it would be a letdown. Everyone would be like, okay, but I wish Haley Steinfeld had done it. So that's the issue. So I'm sure Marvel and Kevin Feige are aware of that. And so apparently this thing is almost signed, but not quite yet. I saw a couple of scoopers point that out. But I think the thing is, because here's the thing, when that exclusive broke today, and I understand, I think it was the Illuminati, right? I understand them wanting the credit for that, of course. But I wouldn't have made an article and a video about it. This is just how I operate, okay? I think they should, and maybe they could have done an article, maybe they could have done a video. I wouldn't have confirmed that she was in the role. I would have reported it as Haley Steinfeld is back in it, and she's going to sign any minute. And that way their story won't be wrong. Now, their story might still be right, but the fact when that story broke, you better believe that all the trade reporters were like, what now? And they called up their contacts, right? Or emailed them, and they were like, what? Is Haley Steinfeld Kate Bishop? And the fact that they're not reporting it is the ultimate test. It should have been, if that scoop was correct, and I'm not saying it's not correct, because she might actually still sign. But as I tweeted, the Disney Insider, I think accurately reported that Harry Styles was going to be Prince Eric. But I think that their mistake was that he hadn't actually signed. I think their contact was like, the contract's out there, it's going to be signed any minute. And so he too wanted the credit for getting it, which I also totally understand. But it blew up in his face because Harry Styles he ultimately decided not to do it. I think in part because of that, in fact, that report, as I said, I feel like when that went on the internet and then the internet was like, ew, I think that Harry Styles was like, thank goodness I didn't sign that contract. But everybody wants, so I don't know I don't know why Haley Steinfeld hasn't signed. She probably will sign this week, but I'm not going to report on it until I hear from my sources that it's true, that she signed, or I see a trade confirm it. That's how I handle scoops. You got to be really careful. That's why sometimes you'll see me tweet something, but not make a video, because that's how I kind of ride the line. Hey, Tobias Partridge. All right. So there's a very long answer to your question. Utaka says, what are you hoping for Emmy noms tomorrow? I'm not sure. Somebody asked me today, they were like, hey, Grace, are you going to report on the Emmy nominations? If it's a super slow day, I will. We'll certainly talk about it in the live stream, if not a video. I got to see how many shows are nominated. I got to see if it's any hot shows. You know, maybe there'll be a comic book show in there, and then, bam, I'll cover it. You know, you got to really see if there's anything that's buzzy. Kyle, I haven't heard anything about Wonder Woman 1984. I will say that DC fandom is going to be off the charts. I might be getting a little something in the mail. I'm excited. TJ Williams, I'm going to make burgers. I'm going to make some burgers on my stove tonight, I think. Jigo, will I be reviewing the Phineas and Ferb movie? I'm not sure. I'm thinking about it, Jigo, because it's slow. I'm thinking about it. However, I've never watched the show, so it's hard for me to review it. Let me tell you something else. I'm reviewing Black is King from Beyonce, and I found out today they're not releasing it in advance for review. So I was surprised about that. I would think they would release it in advance for review, but they were like, we can give you a streaming link if you don't have Disney Plus so you can review it when it drops. And I was like, no, that's fine. I have Disney Plus. I'll just watch it on the service. Oh yeah, Red, the HBO Max Top 10. I knew there was something I forgot that I wanted to cover. That's what happens when I don't write it down right away. I thought it was pretty good. I think, when they had so HBO Max today said, Friends is the most watched things on our service, which I believe, because right now I'm working my way through Seinfeld on Hulu. And so maybe next I'll do Friends. I think I was starting to watch like Golden Girls and I Love Lucy, and I still enjoy them, but they're a little bit maybe past they're a little bit too old for me personally right now. So I'm really enjoying working my way through Seinfeld. And so maybe I'll go to Friends next on HBO Max. But anyway, they said Friends was number 1. That new Anna Kendrick show was number 2. Remember when HBO Max launched, they were like, oh my God, we're going to target women, definitely. And that's why it's purple. And I'm like, wow, it worked. Like, these female-oriented shows are doing so well. Big Bang Theory is 3rd. And then there are other shows like Doom Patrol and Perry Mason are in the top 25. So that's good. So I think it was nice, but I think all these places need a lot more new content. Let's see here. Hector says, who do you want for a live-action Gwen Stacy? Well, I wanted Haley Steinfeld, too. She's really in demand all of a sudden, but she can't because she's going to be Kate Bishop. I think she probably will be. It would be nuts if she wasn't Kate Bishop. I said the other day that if I were Kevin Feige, I would do whatever it takes to get her to do that role. I would be like, how much money does it take? Who do I have to call and threaten? Let's get it done. Joe says, Grace, if you listen to Folklore, how did you find it? Thanks for such a great live stream, too. That's very sweet of you, Joe. I didn't like it. I'm sorry. I usually love Taylor Swift. I've loved both of her last 2 albums. I particularly like Lover. Hey, Jose Gabriel Gonzalez Luna. That's a great name. So I've usually liked Taylor Swift, but I gotta tell you, I don't like ballads. I don't like poetry. So this was really not the album for me. And I'm very impressed with how successful it was. I'm very happy for her. Her core fan base loved it. I just didn't care for it. Danielle knows what I'm talking about. Oh, McKay just went through Will and Grace on Hulu. Yeah, Hulu's pretty sweet. Gotta tell you. I didn't think it was going to be good, but I love it. That's right. Who just said that about The Mandalorian? One of you just said something about The Mandalorian. I think that if that got an Emmy, that would be great. Oh, Aiden says, what about the Raya the Last Dragon image? I couldn't report on it because I have some people I know at Disney, and so when it came out, I was like, first of all, I was like, that's a pretty nice looking image. I thought that was like 10 plus. But I was like, can I report on this? Is it leaked? Will I get in trouble? You got to be really careful. I mean, I have to be careful. Sometimes one of my things I like to remind myself is, you might like seeing something that I cover for like a day, but then I could get seriously penalized for it and have serious repercussions. So it's not worth the long-term risk for a short-term win. So I contacted the people I know at Disney, and I was like, can I cover this? And they were like, holy crap, what's that doing out? And they were like, no, and they were very upset. So I don't think they hunted everybody down, quite frankly, but if like someone who's professionally covering it, I think is not great. I don't know when the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer is coming out. As soon as I find out, I'll let you know. Darcy asked that, Darcy Keating. But remember, the NBA starts on Thursday. So we should get something on Thursday, something from Marvel. I'm pretty excited. Hey, Christian Ramos, I'm glad you made it. Sophia says, I've been making my way through Real Housewives of Beverly Hills on Hulu. Who's your favorite housewife? Well, I really liked Lisa Vanderpump. I was sorry to see her go. I think she's great. I like Erica Jane. I go back and forth on her. And I really like Denise Richards, although I don't know what's happening with her now. I'm kind of nervous. But everything else, you know, I think the show's great. I think Lisa Rinna is entertaining. Dancing Dog 60 says, who won Comic-Con? Well, Justice Con, I think, went very well, obviously. I think New Mutants was obviously a pretty big deal coming out of there. And I think, you know, that's real. Although I was surprised how little attention the new trailer got for New Mutants. I think because Fox didn't upload it individually, maybe? I don't know. Mika, I'll definitely be reviewing Lovecraft Country, for sure. Joseph, will I watch the NBA? I am kind of curious to see how it looks. The setup at Disney. Maybe I will. Oh, Lloyd says it's time. Oh, it is time. Time flies whenever I'm talking with you guys. I always have such a great time. All right, let me do like 3 more questions. Doggomania says, what about The Boys? I actually watched the first 3 episodes of The Boys this weekend. Ho, 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 ho. I'm very excited. I didn't like only having 3 episodes, I gotta tell you, but I watched the first 3. Very good. Let's see here. Do I want to watch hockey, Evan? I don't know about that. I'm not a big fan of hockey. David says, if Superman and Thor had a fight, who would win? Is Mjolnir a cheat? That's hilarious. I love that question. No, I think any kind of superpowers you have are game, because Mjolnir is very important to Thor, and he has to have something to combat Superman's like heat vision, which is built in. So if he gets to have that, he should get to have Mjolnir. So who would win? Oh, that's a good one. I'm not sure who would win. Okay, I'll tell you who I think would win, and then you guys weigh in. But not yet. Wait till I decide. Okay, so I think Superman's obviously more powerful, but I think Thor is more of a brawler, and Superman has like a code. So I think Thor would win. But Superman's so powerful. I'm going to go with Thor, though. Hey, Trash Rose. That's a great name. All right, now who do you think would win? Red says Superman. Steven also says Superman. Oh, see, I like my underdogs, which is why I'm saying it would be Thor. But Thor's a god, although you guys clearly feel it would be Superman. Oh, some people agree with me. Jico and Mikey Bray. That's great. Sir Charles says, unless Thor had a kryptonite axe. That's pretty funny. Maybe he does. You don't know. Maybe he talked to Batman beforehand, and Batman slipped him a little something. I like that you guys all said Superman. I think probably Superman. But I think that's less interesting, quite frankly. Oh, Erwin pointed out that magic. Oh, Erwin, that's brilliant. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Superman is susceptible to magic. So maybe that would help Thor if he had a couple tricks up his, well, he doesn't wear sleeves. Tricks up his vest. Hilarious. All right, so everybody, I had such a wonderful time talking to you today. I'm glad so many of you could join in the evening stream. Maybe I'll try and do an evening stream once a week so that more people can get a chance to join in who usually can't. All right, thank you, everybody. Have a lovely rest of the day, and I'll see you tomorrow. All right, bye, everyone.